Hey, what is up? It is DTM, and I'm just going to speak from the heart. My intention is to send out a good, positive vibration. I'm just sitting down here for breakfast. Honestly, I don't even know what time it is. I intended to look at the clock before I started this video. But anyways, I wanted to talk today about raw food, enzymes, detox, healing. I've been doing so many consults. Thank God for the consults. If you want to get a consult, trueradianthealth@gmail.com. Get a hold of me there. That's the best way. Sometimes it takes me a while with the Instagram and the Facebook and all that. But the email, I check that every day, no matter what the heck's going on in my crazy life. And I make sure I get every single consultation. I did miss one, but he's a really good client and he wasn't tripping at all. And that's because it's really hard when you're, houseless, I guess is the politically correct term. FYI, I bought an old Subaru Outback and made a bed in the back. And now I'm just hiking around. Today is the best day ever. And I am actually really thirsty. I brought my breakfast with me, which is a lemon ginger blast, and of course, the Lifetime. And I wanted to talk about the reason why everyone is sick. So this is like a green juice recipe to heal anything. I had a different title, but that goes against the community guidelines now. When you're ill at ease, means the word is dis-ease. But I have to say politically correct on the community guidelines is that it's a green juice recipe to help you alleviate any condition, And because of the way that they've got everything set up, they definitely don't want you to know what I know, that's for sure. And there's so much suffering, and people that I've worked with, they want a protocol. They really do. Philosophy is great. But most people, they just need to be told, and that's not really what this video is. That'll have to be the next one. I'm going to share the Core 4 or the Fantastic 4. There's another company that calls it Core 4, and I don't know if there's some kind of issue with that or what. I don't want to get any lawsuits, but the Fabulous 4, the Fantastic 4, whatever. There's 4 flagship offerings from the Pyridine: the Cleanse Powder, the Pyrazyme, the Herbal Blood, and the Puralife. And what we're dealing with here is what I call the gastrointestinal doom loop. I'm going to make another video about that too, because it's such a cool title. And I got it just by working with the last several people who just get caught in this doom loop. And it's toxic colon is what it is. It's just really the constipation is so terrible. It's so sad what we're dealing with. And you can't get anyone to do anything about it until they're absolutely desperate. So what I'm trying to tell people is that your healing protocol started 10 years ago. But if you didn't do that 10 years ago, whatever your issue is now, you should have started 10 years ago, taking care of your health. But since you didn't, today's the day and now's the time to start your anti-cancer protocol, your anti-diabetes protocol, your anti-bad breath protocol, your anti-cellulite protocol, your everything. If you want to avoid it, and health is the only way. And we have these offerings to counterbalance the negativity. It's funny how the people on the internet, they'll consume antibiotics all day. But when you try to introduce a probiotic to counterbalance a whole society that lives off antibiotics from birth until death, for every little thing because they still believe in the germ theory, which is not true. It just doesn't work. If you have the terrain right, you'll never get sick a day in your life. You'll be 92 years old and you'll be like, hey, everyone, gather around. I'm going to peace out tonight. If anyone wants to do one last edible, I'm down. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be gone. Please dispose of the body how you see fit. You know, I'm going home. Conscious decision or whatever. If you're spiritually advanced enough, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I'm about to have my lunch, and I am trying to get this out there because the world is addicted to cooked food, which I totally understand. I'm the last guy on earth who wants to be the food police. I really don't. I know food is happiness. Food is, I wouldn't say happiness, actually. Your true nature is peace and happiness, but that's covered over. So what I would say, I wouldn't say happiness as far as the food, but, you know, a modulator of, you know, energy. So food is like a stimulant, you know, it's a modulator, and it's a, you know, suppressant, you know. And everybody daily uses food for those reasons, except for the most highly advanced amongst us. The rest of us mere mortals, you know, we're like programmed to the hilt, trying to break free from these subconscious programs. And victimhood is the worst. I can't work with those people. I've tried, and sometimes I can get through, but the subconscious iceberg below the water for victim mentality makes it very difficult for people to heal. And so that's going to be on you. You've got to admit that. But people have gotten so much out of the victim mentality since they were in childhood that it just never, they can't let it go. And it kills them, you know, and they die of diseases that were created by the inability to let go and move on. We all get, you know, lambasted from the left and the right, ripped off, lied to, cheated on, etc., 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 you know. And some people just, you know, there's a time to mourn and then you move on. But then, you know, old Sally, 30 years later, oh, my little kitty cat died, you know. You can't live like that. You mourn the kitty for 30 days. It's in the Bible, I think. And then you move on, because that's what this is. You're an eternal, infinite being, and you cannot get too attached to this ever-moving, ever-present, ever-changing. And that's why the sadness, the fear, the depression, the anxiety is too much attachment to that which is eternally changing. And that's why I always recommend to go back to the rock, ladies and gentlemen, to go back to the source. Because the closer you get to the source, number one, the less you need to eat, the less diseases you'll have. And you'll also have more peace and less anxiety. And like I said, peace and happiness is the nature, is your true nature, but it's covered over. And so what I'm trying to do with these videos coming ahead, I'm going to do a series, clean out your colon. Eliminate the doom loop cycle that gets you trapped by cleansing out your colon. And that's why the paradigm is so amazing. And I just spent some time with Lou, so I got re-galactivated, but I feel like a homeless loser. So I'm like, I can't make videos. I'm a homeless loser, but I'm still able to stay on point with all of it. You know what I'm saying? Figure out a way to get some green juice. I always carry it. I got a whole box. That's all I have is some clothes, this camping equipment, and a box of Paradigm. And then I just go here, there, and trying to figure it all out. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life right now, you know, and I have an infinite potential. And I got to tell you, being out in the woods is like the most connected to God. And then you're like, what else would I possibly even want? The more connected to God you feel, the better life is dope. It's epic. And then you go back into the fray and you're like, I got to get a lot of stuff and I got to be somebody and I got to do something. And then you get caught up in the quagmire and it's a deep, marshy pit, you know. Now, I'm not saying, you know, don't get a wife and a couple of cool kids and find yourself a little sanctuary somewhere where you can stay connected to God, but getting caught up in all these different, you know, quagmires is a nightmare. the wind. Anyways, I'm glad to be with you today. I try to make these videos, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make like an 8-minute video. 10 minutes in, I haven't even started. It's pathetic. But I do have good intentions, and I do care about people, and I'm trying to get them to break free of the doom loop. I'm not in the doom loop, man. I'm like happy. Like, I don't have much. I live out of the back of an old Subaru Outback. The seats just popped down. I threw some plywood in there and got a cheap, my friends will give me hell every which way, but you know how toxic those are? I'm like, yeah, but they'll off gas soon enough. I just put 3 sheets over it, and it'll off gas, and then it'll be, this old, dusty, dirty, mattress topper, and it's pretty comfortable. And I always keep the pillowcases clean. I'm very particular about pillowcases. You should be too. And so I want to thank everyone for so much love and support. I'm trying to make an educational video. My my preface at the front of these videos is so dang long. It's a whole dang thing in of itself. And you say you haven't even started on how these people can clean themselves out with raw foods and enzyme therapy. I feel like I already got to let you go because this is the day and age. But then again, I'm a 3rd tier influencer on social media. I am not here to get a bunch of clicks. I'm here to help people. It's a job, it's a service, it's an art. I'm a 3rd tier, long stretch, 17 years. Hey, it's not bad if you eat some organic vegetables. I know the carnivores hate the vegetables, but you can't have, you can only have, I think the best is that diversity where you can digest anything. That's what I have. I'm lucky. I was vaginally birthed and breastfed, and that's literally the only thing I have going for me. It wasn't great before that. It wasn't great after that, but my mom, she was 16 years old, but she was old school, and she breastfed me for a few months. I told my ex-wife to breastfeed them kids, and they did until they were like 3-4 years old. I was like, hell yeah, that's the way you do it. My kids are really good kids, smart, well-headed, on point. My ex-wife is a really good mom. She did a great job, and I'm super grateful. Now we're really good friends, and I really care about her. And, we both just have, a couple of numbskulls, thick heads, But she's cool as hell, man. She wants to argue about politics. I don't care, man. I don't care about the world. I don't care what the world does. I'm not getting sucked into the doom loop. And the doom loop is in your colon. It's a dirty, nasty, festering poop pipe. And it's just festering with dark, because the gut produces the metabolites to go into your brain. That's why the paradigm is absolutely freaking genius. And I'm going to get somewhere, and I'm going to get a kitchen, and I'm going to do the core 4, but then they got a lot of other great stuff too. And I know that people are like, I don't need protein. Well, neither do I, but I need amino acids, because the first thing you'll notice when you're deficient in amino acids is your hair. Okay, and then let me quash the rumors right here and right now. As far as I know, anyways, I've never used Botox, and I've never used hair dye. And as far as I can tell, neither has Lou Corona. He's got no reason to lie to me. And so as far as I know, I've never dyed my hair or put on any Botox. And Lou has never dyed his hair or put on any Botox. For the rest of them, I can't really say, But for those 2 that were being accused of that just to sell enzymes, no. I don't even think I look that great, but whatever, I just look average, normal, and I've just embraced that. But I'm so cool that it makes up for it. Okay, that's just a joke, but you got to be yourself, and you got to have a message, because the one thing I can say is I'm not perfect and princess like all these other little raw food princesses, but I'll tell you what, man. In fact, I never want to lose my masculinity. Toxic masculinity. It's like, you're just afraid because we'll smash your head into the ground for doing things that you shouldn't be doing. That's why they don't like masculinity, because the men are still going to smash heads if they see some funny business, okay? And then the feminists get on board and the whole place is a bunch of weak ass punks. But I'm trying to be nicey and just stick to the message here so that I can help people so they don't have to die so young or die of cancer and all the diabetes and get stuck in this doom loop where your head is full of nasty poop residues because you haven't had a colonic, you don't take the cleanse powder, and you don't use the enzymes when you eat cooked food. So the residues are left over, and then it's a seething bog in there, and then all the metabolites. Bird, I got an audience. What's up, Birdie? And then you got this, all these nasty metabolites from rotting, fermenting, putrefying rancidity. And so if you take the green juice, and that was the video that I wanted to make, it took me only 16 minutes to get here, so I just can't help being my damn self. I was like, I'm gonna do an 8-minute video on the benefits of green juice and enzymes, and then that'll be it, Dan McDonald, you gotta hurry. And I can't do it. And I know I lose a lot of people, but they edit, and it's not real. I'm actually a real person. No, I'm just kidding. This is AI-generated content. I wrote a script. I got a board back over here, and this is a green screen. It looks like a green screen now that I look at it. It's like fake. Okay, wind. Cue the wind. Okay, and action. Hey, everyone. This is Dan McDonald. What is it? Yeah, I'm not even going to do that. Those fake, everything is, the Tai Chi one is politically correct. The ones where they go, my stepson, I used it on him. Oh, while my husband was at work. It's like, this is the kind of crap on the internet? I mean, it's disgusting. What kind of low vibe world are we living in? It's like so low. It's got so low. Anyways, but the Tai Chi ones is, I'm 69. My doctor comes to me for advice now. I'm like, bro, you're AI generated. This is so stupid. But look at me though, just skinny dude. But I did work out all day. I went to the market to get some fresh lettuce. And then I saw this awesome thing where it was just this, all these little workout circuit thing, and I went through that, and it was awesome. I made a video, but it was like I didn't have a tripod or anything. I got to get a tripod, but I had that workout. That was epic. Ugh. And then today I just climbed a mountain, and I took this. I was out there and I was doing the log. The log workouts are the best, Yeah, those are the real men, out there with a log, doing CrossFit training where you do the overhead with the log. You pick up the heaviest log you can find, and I found a really nice one today. Nice and straight, nice and balanced. A few little snags, but I didn't get too messed up on my hands. But, you do the overhead, then you do the curls. There's no excuse. You can be a homeless bum and still get your green juice and still get a workout in. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just really glad to be alive, I have a really healthy gut because of a raw food protocol and the massive consumption of the Pyridine. Herbs, enzymes, and probiotics. I mean, it just keeps you pooping like a racehorse, and it cleans all the junk out so you can break free from the doom loop. And I've got all these people that want protocols and stuff, so I'm going to explain it again, over and over again. And that's my offering. Like, use this protocol, the Fabulous 4, with green juice and raw foods, and your whole life will change. And then you go get some colonics, as many as you can afford, and clean all that nastiness out of there. And you'll be like, wait a minute, this world doesn't suck as bad as I thought. You got to break out of the victim mentality, though. And you got to clean out your colon as much as you can. And there's an infinite philosophy on food. Luckily, I have one good quality, and that is that I am a food savant. And I don't say that lightly. I've noticed everywhere I go, number one, I can find food in nature. And number two, there's that wind again. Cue the wind. I can find food. I know how to prepare food. They're like, almonds are poisonous. Well, unless you soak and sprout them. Then they're one of the greatest foods on earth. But if they don't know the living foods principle and know how to soak and sprout the nuts, the seeds, the beans, the legumes, foods that I don't eat very often, but I sure love them mung beans though. Those are my favorite. And you can do it with any bean. Garbanzo beans are awesome. You make a raw hummus. Soak and sprout those suckers. Sprouts. I've been eating a lot of sprouts because number one, they're dirt cheap. And number two, they're just a living food. And they've got these ones for $1.99 for these nice packages of and I love the alfalfa sprouts. I grew up, my dad was all into that. That's where he got his vitamins. And the alfalfa sprouts are amazing because they have great nutrition. Alfalfa is an amazing plant that goes way deep. But anyways, that whole food savant thing, I mean, I just totally have this weird trip with food. And I can see what's good, what's not, what's fresh, what's in season, what's local, how to prepare it, how to combine it so that it digests, and how to keep your colon, moving through there. And I eat one meal a day. This is like, this is breakfast. It's probably, there's the sun, I would say. It's got to be 2 or 2:30 in the day. And this is my breakfast. And, because I have that one meal at night, and then I work out all day and climb these mountains, and then I burn clean. You know what I'm saying? I did blast a handful of enzymes before I started climbing, and then I went up. And because I keep doing this thing in sections. I did this one, and I got to here. Then I was like, okay, and I got to come back tomorrow. And then I went up, and I was like, I'm going to see how far it goes. And then I just went, and it just kept going. And now I got to come back and finish. I ain't even going to finish it because I talked to this old dude that was like 90. He's like, I've been coming here since the 70s. You want to shoot my pistol? Oh, I forgot my train of thought, but I was like, you're 90, bro? You looking good, homie, out here chilling. And he said, oh, this goes on forever. And I said, oh, man, well, you know what? That's speaking my language because I love to get out here and get lost in the woods. I might even bring some food tomorrow and just go because I saw that was like I got to this one place and it was like it go this way, straight or left. You could go right, left, or straight. And tomorrow, I think I'm going to come back to this place and go straight. But I need to get here earlier because the days are short. The government took away an hour. Anyways, this video did not go the way I wanted, but I am going to spread this message of the enzyme therapy, the enzyme concept of raw living foods and exogenous, endogenous as well through dry fasting and water fasting. But that's more minimal, and I try to just keep that a little bit on the down low for just my coaching clients so I can work them through because I'll be like, start them out 24 hours first, then move them to 36, then 48, and then 72. And then once we've got to that level, then I say, okay, you might be ready for a 5 or 7 day, And I just walk them through that. And but what's cool about the endogenous enzyme therapy from the dry fasting perspective is how, and this is all just, billions of years of biology and then millions of years of Homo sapien and just having shortages of food and shortages of water as well. But the enzymes produced by the liver to access the superfluous waste so that it can just get to the water. And so that's why the dry fasting is the purgatorial fire, which is very, for some people uncomfortable. I've done it so much now and so much fasting, and I'm pretty clean. So I do pretty well with the dry fasting. I don't really recommend it, to be honest with you. You did not hear it from me, but when you're more prepared and more advanced and on this track, then you use the dry fasting endogenously to activate those enzymes that break up all the junk and the waste so that it can access the water. When you're water fasting, it doesn't have to activate that particular subset of enzymes, but it does on the 4th day. That's why when everyone is on the internet and they're like, these dudes, don't ever fast 3 days, you'll lose your gains, bro. And I'm like, yeah, but water fasting doesn't really start until day 4. That's why the dry fasting is pretty quick, 18 hours. It kicks on, And that's why I always start a water fast with a dry fast, because it kicks it on. Then in day 3 or 4, then you have a little bit of water, and then you drink like 16 ounces of water or something, or 32 maybe a day. I know a lot of the fasting experts, they want you to chug hella water, but they don't get it. They don't see what I see as the energetic body is cleansing itself, then the emotional, mental body, and then the physical body. And it'll handle its business, and you'll know when you need to drink a little bit more when it's moving through the different cycles and phases that it does. And so that's endogenous enzyme therapy. And that is also associated with the amylase in the mouth and all of the enzymes that are produced in the pancreas as well, and then the gallbladder and the liver, but they're all overworked. And that's the problem, is because what happens is when you cook the food, you kill the enzymes first and foremost. The enzymes are the first things that get destroyed. First, it's the enzymes, and this is the food savant thing that I've never even seen this anywhere else. I just know this myself, just through the savantness of it all. But the enzymes are the first to go, and those food enzymes are the enzymes that are in the food, and they all have it: animal products, vegetable products, fruit products, nut and seed products. Okay, they all have their own intrinsic enzymes intact, unless you heat it past a certain point. The enzymes are the first to go. Then the plant cellulose is next to burst from the heat. Then you lose the vitamins. Finally, you lose the minerals, according to how long. And that's why I'm trying to help the people, because they're like, well, I'm eating deep fried every day. And I'm like, okay, whoa. If we can get you to bake, we'll be making a step in the right direction. The deep fried food, though, with those fats, and that's where you start to get into that gastrointestinal doom loop of heavily fried oils that just leave massive residues. There's so many different glues, waxy issue, residuals of the various types, because every different food element and constituent is going to have a different response to the heat in its coagulation. So carbs are going to coagulate differently than proteins coagulate, and fats are going to coagulate differently, than the proteins and the carbs, So every different food that you high heat goes through that transformation process, creating all those different types of bonded material that were at one time easily absorbable, microscopic and nanoscopic, but mostly in these terms, microscopic, that we're trying to break apart with the enzymes, and those microscopic, elements just bond together and create longer chains, longer bonds that are harder to break down, that cost you your enzyme bank account, your enzyme efficiency. Now your pancreas is double, triple in size, and that's why everyone has a big fat belly. And if you want to bring that down, you've got to eat more raw food, and you've got to take the exogenous enzymes if you're going to eat cooked food. That way the pancreas isn't so bloated, as well as the liver, as well as the salivary glands, trying to keep up with the food being destroyed and the enzymes being gone, which pre-digest the food in your stomach for up to an hour. And that's why when we put that in, all the cooked food, we lose the enzymes, and now you have no pre-digestion. And then all your organs and all your glands are constantly overworked. And so now what we have is an overworked digestive system, which then, of course, taxes the endocrine system, because there's going to be no metabolism left, because you have all of your digestive, all of the enzyme activity, or your enzyme bank account, which you have as preset from birth, is now going to be used up with the cooked food. And now you're going to have no energy left over for the metabolic enzymes, which is hair repair, skin repair, detoxification, brain regeneration at night when you sleep, melatonin. That's a whole nother story I got to get into with everyone to help them. Oh, the whole place has gone to hell in a handbasket. I mean, these consults, I mean, maybe your life is better than a lot of the consulting clients I have. I guess they do call me when they're at their wits' end. So it seems like the whole world is so screwed up, but maybe there's some relatively healthy people that aren't experiencing digestive issues, sleep issues, tired issues, exhausted issues, doom loop, negative Nancy, fear monger, fear, afraid, anxiety. I got none of that. Now, there's a lot of processes, but the number one is like, my job is to help everyone get their gut cleaned out so the anxiety goes away. And so that the doom loop stops. It's because you create the metabolites of healthy biology. Cue the rain. We're doing an AI video here, so here comes the rain. That's epic. Cue the fly. Zzz. Oh, this video is 9 billion times longer than I wanted it to be. Oh, Lordy, what am I going to do with myself? It's impossible to fit in an education. Imagine getting an education, though. And imagine taking that education and making powerful individual choices and leaving the negative Nancy doom loop, end of the world, everyone. It doesn't even matter who it is or what genre they're sharing from on social media. It's like the end of the world, the global warming, climate change, the politics is going to ruin the world. It's all going to ruin the world. We're all going to die. And yet here we are, still going. There's no reason to complain. If you get your gut right, I'm telling you, you will be like, hey, it's pretty awesome today. The air's fresh. I'm going out for a walk, It's just like the simple stuff. And especially when you have a relationship with God. That's the number one thing. If you have a relationship with God, you're chilling. People are like, there is no God. He's a pissed off white dude in the sky with a beard. No. God is love and peace. No more, no less. That's why I always say, there's no reason to fear God. God's the last thing I'm afraid of. All these crazy people, I'm a little bit afraid of them freaking out on me, having a protest outside of my house. No more anything. I'm aggravated. The blue dye in my hair soaking into my brain and turning me insane. Stop protesting. Go home and fix your own life. You can fix your own life. You don't need to fix the world. The world isn't broken. In fact, it's perfect. One day, everyone will see that this world is perfect. Man, this is going to be some cold-ass business up in here. Boy, because it's going to start raining. Anyways, we'll tough it out. Anyways, I'm just yakking on about nothing. I'm trying to get this, because everybody that I know needs to take the green juice and a handful of enzymes to start their day. If you do that, your life will change, and you'll begin the process of breaking free from the constant perpetual doom loop cycle of the nasty festering colon. Oh yeah. That never gets old, my friends. Never gets old. Cue the ants. What's up, buddy? Well, here comes the rain. Y'all about to get rained on. That's all right. We'll have to start heading back. I got some good rain gear in here, so that's good. Anyways, I really appreciate you all, and I'm trying to do my best. This video I was like, I'm going to do like an 8, maybe 10 minutes at the most, trying to explain the green juice and enzymes, because that's where you'll get, I'm telling you, man, my stomach is an incinerator. I have amazing digestion, amazing poops, and I do not have any doom loop. I get a little stressed from like when I was tripping, you know, when I had the U-Haul truck, which by the way, I mean, that motor, I said, man, I want a GMC with that motor in it because that thing was badass. I was burning rubber with that U-Haul truck every time I stepped on the gas because it wasn't loaded. So it was just a rocket. I was like, bro, I'm going to take this GMC van and just not have the box, U-Haul box on the back, but just have the GMC van because that thing handled well. It was a smoker. I loved it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to try to do better at explaining this stuff because I did a consult yesterday, and this was the nature of it, and I wanted to just, you know, drink because she was drinking like a cup of juice. And I said, you need to saturate your body with vitamins, minerals, enzymes, phytonutrients, and living water, H2O2, with juice, and blast a handful of enzymes every morning to get the day started right, because that calibrates the system. Fresh. The fresh juice and the enzymes will wash away the festering, fetid filth that has accumulated in every single human being, because about 97% of the food that's eaten is cooked and 70% of it or more is highly processed with enzyme inhibitors in it to keep it from going bad on the shelf. And people are saturating their body with enzyme inhibitors and antibiotics, and that's the reason why the enzymes and the probiotics work so well in our modern society to counterbalance. I'm not against using technologies to advance your life, to get ripped, to get your tissues in tip-top shape. But what I've noticed mostly is that people's colons are so dirty, and that's why you use the cleanse powder, and that's why you use the herbal blood, and that's why you use the Pyrazyme, and that's why you use the Puralife. And that's why you culturize your foods and make those nut seeds and yogurts. When I get a kitchen again, I can't wait. I'm doing just jimmy rigging my way through this thing, but I'm staying on point, you know? But if you have a kitchen, you can make some amazing yogurts using Pyrazyme, and I'll try to get somewhere where I can get that to you. And I'll try to educate. I'm going to try to get a kitchen. I need a girlfriend and a kitchen. And I really don't need much more than that. Nice kitchen. Pretty, cute, beautiful, little precious. And then just be chilling. I'll make videos until the cows come home, you know? I'll get everybody on point, because you'll be like, this dude, he's tripping, but man, this thing works. Green juice and enzymes and all the Pyrazyme stuff. That's my job, dude. That's my mission in life. I met with Lou Corona. Dude's a badass. And then the people were like, Lou Corona dyes his hair. Like, you retards. It's the catalase. It's goddamn catalase in here, man, that neutralizes the hydrogen peroxide in all the cooked food. Amylase protease, acid-stable protease, diastase, bromelain, lipase, lactase, catalase, serratiopeptidase, alpha-galactidase, glucoamylase, cellulase, papain, invertase, phytase, beta-galactidase. It's the catalase that neutralizes the hydrogen peroxide, which is the natural byproduct. That's why you start going gray in your 40s, you know? Because, you know, at about 35, you're just done. Your enzymes are just done. Because we wipe them out with alcohol, drugs, coffee, cooked food, stress. over-exercise, undersleep, chemicals galore, all the other stuff that the pharmaceutical companies do to us, plus the crap in the sky and all the chemicals. It diminishes your enzyme potential. The cooked food is the main culprit. Well, the highly processed food is the worst, because you've got, not only does it cooked food is like, okay, I get it, it's cool, it's good. But the highly processed food with the enzyme inhibitors, that really wipes out your enzyme potential. And they've got all the preservatives and additives in there, because they're not using organic ingredients, organic oats to make this granola or whatever. So the highly processed food, which is 70% of the food consumed, is the biggest problem. And then you cook the food and you cook out all the natural enzymes. That's true for animal products, plant products, nuts and seeds, all of it. So every animal is a raw foodist, but then the humans are like, no, my colon will become deficient. It's like, no, this should taste good. It just tastes good, and it's gourmet. And I will tell you, when food became an art, so did medicine. And that's where we're at now. The whole place is sick. And it was ignorance, but now it's by design, which is another form of ignorance. That's hitting the spot. Sorry, took me 45 minutes to say nothing. I couldn't go into regenerator mode. That's why out here in the nature, in the kitchen, I can usually be like, hey, it's Dan McDonald. You're going to do what I say, damn it. So I'll just put this one up for the fans. They're all for the fans, because if you don't know me and you ain't been on this journey with me for a while, you're going to get on here and be like, this is not AI enough for me. I need everything in 30 seconds. I want a laugh track. I want the little words underneath it. I want my content, Dan McDonald. That some ladies write to me, you need to work on your content. Like, you need to work on your character, lady, like me. It's just that, man, what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm saying, I was just like chilling. Like, dude, if you were here with me, we'd be chilling. I'd even share my juice with you. We would do a double dose. You can't take too many of these, man. They will clean you out. When you take enzymes on an empty stomach with juice, they go into your bloodstream. If you've never seen the live blood cell analysis, you got to trust me, man. We have so much filth in our blood, and that's the doom loop, because all the metabolites are seeping into the body, into the blood, and then through that blood, all the parasites and all the candida and all the waste matter gets into the blood, and it gets into the brain, and you're like, this life sucks. And it's like, actually, this life is dope, dude. But you gotta get out of the doom loop. And so when you take the Lifezyme with food, especially cooked food, if you take processed food, take the enzymes. If you eat cooked food, take the enzymes. If you eat raw food, take the enzymes. If you eat living food, then you don't necessarily need the enzymes. And living food is freshly picked, in-season food where the electrical charge is still in the enzymes. So the food digests itself because it's still alive. And that's only with the living food. The sprouts, the nuts, the soaked nuts and seeds, the freshly picked fruit, the freshly picked herbs and vegetables. But once it's raw food and it's been sitting for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, it's lost its enzyme potential as well as its vitamin and mineral delivery mechanisms. Obviously, living food is the best because that's how nature has always been. But now we live in this modern world. It's kind of nice, but we are getting kind of fat because there's too much food and not enough work to go get it. And that's okay. That has its, pros and cons too, but the food is pretty weak. It sucks. And so to help absorb the nutrition in it, the enzymes help. When I go to the restaurant with Lou, we eat a half a bottle of enzymes when we go to Olak. We've been doing that for years, And so you take the enzymes with cooked food, and if you want the therapeutic effects, you take the enzymes on an empty stomach between meals. And everybody needs that, unless you're absolutely ripped and you have no saggy, flabby, anything, no varicose veins, no cellulite, no bad breath, no body odor. If you're still wearing deodorant, you need the enzymes. I haven't worn deodorant in 25 years. If you don't have the energy you want, you need the enzymes and the raw food therapy. The green juice, the raw foods, the fresh fruit and vegetables. Food that digests itself and does not tax your pancreas to always digest it. And that's why the pancreas is doubled in size and everybody's bloated, men and women, big old stomach, because it's just working overtime to try to keep up with the cooked food. The more raw food you eat, the less work your pancreas has to do. I didn't do as well as I wanted on this video, but whatever. Lemon ginger blast. Not really. More like apple juice with a couple of green things in it, but beggars can't be choosers, man. No, I'm going to get a home again somewhere, and I'm going to go to work, ladies and gentlemen, because I have a long-term, I'm a top-tier influencer. I just realized that last night. I'm like, I'm not one of these laugh track, 30-second, pissed off about everything, just angry and weak and jerking off 20 times a day and pissed off about everything and feminism and all this other garbage trash. It's disgusting. Imagine masculinism. You're like, that sounds stupid. It's like, thank you. Men and women are good. Some people are dicks and some people are cool. Be a cool person. Understand. See that everyone is the same source. Now we're all suffering in one way or another. And still have a good attitude though about it. Well, that was my 8-minute video. I was like hiking all day and I'm like, I'm gonna make an 8 or 10-minute video. Oh, I do need an AI to write me a script. Was this a green screen? Was this real? No, this is AI, man. Hey, this is AI. I'm 102 years old. Now my doctor calls me for raw food advice. The fucking Tai Chi thing. I'm 972 years old, and now doctors ask me for advice. And people really believe it, People are like, oh, this is so real. That he's a real guy. That Asian guy, he does Tai Chi, and Tai Chi makes his chest like that. Yeah, dude, I gotta do Tai Chi. I wanna get just huge with Tai Chi. It'll build your muscles. It's gone haywire, bro. I've held you for way too long, man. I've been trying to connect with the audience, bro. I've been trying to connect with my audience. Wanna flirt? Boppo. Bop. Oh! Tickle, 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 tickle. Mm-hmm. Now the rain's really starting to come down. I knew it was gonna rain. Anyways, we've hung out this long. This is the best damn day ever, I'll tell you. I have a dope ass life, man. I love you guys. I'm trying to figure out this whole god dang thing. God dang, dag nabbit. He's as crazy as a loon. But I do know it's true, though. Like, if you take these, you'll be ripped. Drink the juice, blast the Zymes. You'll be out here climbing mountains like me, man. And you won't be at home, like, sad, you know? And all just discouraged about life and holding on to the past. Forget it, man. But it's all in your colon. That's why you gotta blast the Pyridime and go get a colonic. Your head will clear. You'll be out here just ripping it up, man. Stoked. Oh, God. I tried to make an 8-minute video, bro, that went like almost an hour. Green screen behind me. Everything. Even the juice was AI juice. AI juice, AI enzymes. I don't give a flying flip about the AI, the end of the world, the money's gonna be toilet paper soon. I'm not afraid. Someday we'll have to have that conversation. There is a way to not be afraid, and there is a way to have no anxiety, but you're gonna have to start the work now. I'll try to do my best. I'm gonna try to help people. I'm so blessed. You know, that's what's crazy. I am so blessed. I got like lucky with everything that happened to me, man. And the choices that I made to get to here now, to where I'm just getting started. But I did the prerequisites, you know? And I'm sober now, and I've learned to control my sexual energy, and I can control my, you know, food and stuff, and I can get out every day for some fitness training. I'm just really blessed. And then I got this YouTube thing, which, you know, if it hasn't drove me to the mental hospital, I think I'm gonna make it, because I'm starting to be like, okay, this is an NPC bot farm. Those birds, man. Dude, they are all about it, dude. There's an audience, man. Wild. That dude is awesome. These birds are just hardy, rugged, badasses. Starting to get a little cool. I better get moving. Anyhow, I'll try to educate. This one was whatever it was. I'll put this up. It's just, I can't lose. I mean, I'll get a little Google AdSense. I'm trying to make this message clear. I'll have to really hone my message, because I want people to get it, to understand that if you just drink juice and take enzymes, your whole life will change. And then if you throw in a colonic or two in there, man, oh man, you are gonna be feeling way better. Go get a massage, and then you get out for fitness training and stretching and some hot yoga. Early to bed, early to rise, prayer and meditation every day, connecting to the source. Connecting to the source, man. The rest of it don't even matter, because it doesn't even matter what happens. But when you connect to the source, you'll just eat better. You'll feel better. You'll get more exercise. You'll be kinder. You won't see the end of the world every time you turn around. The whole place is so negative. That's probably why I stay the hell away from people, man, because they're so negative. You know, you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta get your heart and your mind and your body right as much as you can. I mean, life can be a real poop show, you know, but you can get it and make good decisions. You'll be stoked. I don't think I even said anything, but anyways, trying to do my best. This is an epic day. I will tell you that right now. 100%. This is an epic day. I can't wait to go back tomorrow and finish this thing out, but I talked to the 90-year-old man. It's like, I just realized there is no finishing this out. It just goes on and on and on forever. And there are so many trails that I'm just going to have to spend the rest of my life. But I'm thinking, how am I going to make a living and make these videos? Because you're going to need equipment, gear, you know. How am I going to make a living out of being out here in the woods? That's my question. Because this is it, bro. I mean, this is it. Listen. Them birds, your nervous system. A motorcycle, not so much. The wind, oh yeah. A semi-truck rolling by, I don't think so. A jet plane going over your head, no thanks. But the sound of the river, oh yeah. The rain on your skin and the wind to get a little cool, oh yeah. Keep your senses alive, acute, aware, alive, sensitive. So much pollution, desensitized, weak, sad, doom loop. Clean out your gut and then get outside now. No, just kidding. But have a nice place to sleep. Don't matter what time of year it is, though. You know what I'm saying? Got to get outside. We're tripping. I'm going to try to do my best. This video was a trip. I was like, 8 minutes, do your little thing there, you know what I'm saying? Get these people to get their colon cleaned out with green juice and enzymes, and then we'll be chilling. But I just went on and on, so anyhow. I wish there was a way I could educate in silence.